Hello everybody, it's Mr. Second Amendment, and I want to do a video on AR15 lubrication. It seems like there's so many thoughts out there. People say you should lubricate it a lot. Some people say not as much. A lot of people don't know really how much or what's enough, what's not enough. And I just want to say with the AR15 reliability video that you can see linked up right here, the results from that video came from the lubrication procedure that I'm going to show you right now. And I'll just tell you up front, just to make this quick, I believe in a minimalist kind of lubrication system for the AR15. It's a Eugene Stoner design, which means we're working with something different. And with his designs, usually if you look through them, especially on the AR15, you're going to see that if you actually understand the mechanical processing of what's going on, where the parts interface, then you're going to realize you don't need to sit there and just spray your bolt carrier group with oil where it's dripping and then put it into the rifle. Now the rifle will, to the AR-15's credit, the rifle will still function under normal circumstances, even if there's way too much oil in there. But in a situation of duress where there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of dust going on, it's just going to be a dust and dirt magnet. So let me just show you just a different way of doing it. This is a minimalist approach. This is how I lubricate the AR-15 rifle. So we got to mechanically look at and understand the parts, what is happening. So really quick in a nutshell, see if I get us in focus here. All right, I got the bolt right here. And what we got going on is we have the gas rings, and then we have this raised rim right here. And if you actually look at that, this bolt's had a little bit of action. But basically, where are we contacting? Where is the contact with the bolt carrier group? And it's the raised rim and the gas rings. So in my opinion, that's the only thing we really need to lubricate on the bolt. So I'll drop some lubricant. This is the Empro 7 LPX. Alright, so I just did that and just drop some there. I'll kind of spin that around to get that, make sure that the rings are all, and then I just kind of like to finger apply a little bit of oil on the bolt tail, just because there's so much heat and carbon. This is a high stress area on the bolt, so not really to lubricate here. There's nothing touching this, just kind of as a preservative protectant. Okay, so that's it for the bolt. Now let's take a look at our bolt carrier group, and if we mechanically try to understand what's going on here, if we actually look at this now, you notice that it's all dry. I don't have any oil just drenched or dripping off of this thing. Where does the bolt carrier group actually contact the upper receiver? And the answer to that is these four rails. I got one rail right here, I've got another, and then I've got the other two on the other sides. And if you actually look, this bolt of course is seeing a little bit of action, this bolt carrier group, but you can see it's a little silver, it's a little worn on the four rails, but the rest of the bolt carrier is just factory fresh. And that's because this does not contact your upper receiver. Okay, so what we should do, and get us back in focus, is just take a little bit of oil, and I like to just kind of put it on the rails like that, finger apply, try to get us in focus here. Okay, you can see that oil's kind of running down, and I just kind of swipe it on down. Okay, getting some oil right there. Just kind of finger apply to make sure it's there. Okay, but if you actually look at the rest of the bolt, the only places the oil is staying is just on those four rails. That's all I need. I'll even wipe this off because I don't need that extra oil. Okay, I'll take a rag, I'll wipe off any of the excess oil. I only need those four rails. Okay, so that's that for the bolt. So we'll start assembling the bolt and putting it together. So we'll put that in. Alright, and then this is pretty important. We're going to check out our bolt cam. Okay, get us in focus here. Check out that this bolt cam has been through a little bit of usage, and look at it. Alright, not only is it physically silver, but you can actually feel with the fingernail it kind of catches on a raised edge. So this is definitely a high wear part. Okay, so this is going to be probably the most lubricated part of the whole rifle, in my opinion. This actually is going to be on the verge of needing replacing pretty soon here. So what do I do for that? I hold it by the top, get us back in focus here. Again, that's the Empro 7 I'm using right now, my favorite. And I'm just gonna kind of heavily lubricate it. You can kind of see it bulging of lubrication just coming off that. And then I'm just gonna carefully drop it in so I don't get lubrication anywhere else. And I'll just kind of give it the twist. Next, the firing pin. Doesn't really need it. I just kind of finger apply a little bit of residual oil that happens to be on my fingers from touching that part. And I drop that in. Cotter pin I don't mess with, or firing pin, retaining pin. Okay, so now, and I just kind of work it in back and forth like that. That is how I lubricate an AR15 bolt. So we're going to put that to the side. It's ready to go when I'm ready. We're going to move to this. I don't really mess with this a whole lot because this doesn't get very dirty. I'll just put on a little bit of lubrication just like that. Just kind of do this. Many of the springs and buffers these days are either a Teflon material or they've had some type of treatment on it, so they're self-lubricating. And really not that big of a deal. Once I do that, I'll just go ahead. Okay, so that's in there. Now what we're going to do, we'll just move to the charging handle real quick. Now the charging handle, this has seen as much wear as the rest of the parts that you've seen so far. And look at the charging handle. It's still stark factory black. Really, there's not a whole lot of wear on the inside or the outside. So the charging handle, some people will spray their charging handle so it's dripping. They'll put it in the rifle. Really, there's no need to do that. I just take one little dab of oil. Just a little, that's such a minor amount, and just kind of rub it on the top just like that. I don't even mess with the inside because there's no silver, there's no wear marks on the inside, no need for that. And just a little bit brazen shiny with a little bit of oil, that's about it. Okay, so that's minimal, and that's not enough oil to collect dirt or dust, but it's enough to get the job done for what that part does. Moving on to the lower receiver, what I like to do with my pins, my takedown pins here, is I'll just take some oil and I'll just dump a little bit on there. Okay, and I'll just kind of push them in and then take them back out just to kind of work that in. Only really once is all you need. Now this is kind of an extra special part, and I only really do this if I know I'm not headed into something dusty or dirty. Even if I am, though, this is not going to be a big deal. I'm taking some M-Pro 7, the LPX. I'm just kind of putting it on a Q-tip, and you can kind of see that Q-tip is saturated in oil. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my springs in here. Let's see if we can get us back in focus. I need the, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to hit the springs right in there, just with a little bit of oil, and the hammer. Okay, coast it forward, never let that slam. Okay, just going to coat some of these internals here. Not really a big deal. I'll take the dry side and I'll just kind of clean up any excess oil that just happened there. Okay, that's really about it. Just enough, and I kind of work it just enough to keep those springs lubricated because there is a lot going on there. Okay, so basically that's it for the lubrication, and I just put this thing back together. Okay, so basically that's all it is, and you can see the bolt carrier is still dry, but the inside four rails, you can kind of see, you see that pathway, that little track of oil right there, and that's basically where that one of the four rails is contacting the upper receiver. That's all you need. And the method I just showed you here, that's a minimalist approach. That was, like I said, that was used in the AR15 reliability video. I'm going to post that up again. And again, just kind of recap here, I think that you shouldn't have to just douse oil all over the gun. It, you know, a little goes a long way with a stoner design, and I think you need to have a mechanical understanding, a very basic mechanical understanding of how these parts interface and work together. And once you get that, you'll realize, you know what, maybe I really don't need as much oil as I had once thought. And it's okay, this is a journey, we're learning as we go. But hopefully this helped you out. Please comment for questions and share some thoughts. Thanks for watching.